सो वन डे आई वेंट टू स्कूल, क्लास में बैठा हूँ एंड इस सेक्शन में जहाँ पे कंपटीशन इतना स्ट्रांग है वहाँ पे रोज आर डी शर्मा की बात होती है, आर एस अग्रवाल की बात होती है एंड हमेशा कोई ना कोई पढ़ाई का टॉपिक चल रहा होता है। क्लास में बैठते साथ यू रियलाइज कि ओके पढ़ाई की बात होने वाली है। कम से कम 5 लड़के मेरे पास आए और एक लड़की मेरे पास आई एंड दे टोल्ड मी that this particular teacher, our chemistry teacher, is leaving. Now you might think कि is leaving तो अलग बात होती है, वो तो hurtful है ही. But they did not say that she's leaving. They said that she's getting married. The Funny Podcast, Bizarre and Real, Season 3. This podcast is brought to you in association with the Level Up Creators Program by Spotify India and Ideabrews Studio. Hey guys, welcome back to the Funny Podcast, Bizarre and Real, Season 3. So, last week we had an episode about how you can score something that you won't follow because उससे तो कतई तुम्हारा IT नहीं निकलेगा. But repercussions are a very important part and we needed to learn about it. So yeah, I shared that story. I hope that it made sense to some of you. क्योंकि अगर आप उस 1% पॉपुलेशन में हैं जिनसे हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि आप कितना हाँ 100% मार्क्स लेके आए, तो आपके लिए वो एपिसोड बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट था. आई एम होपिंग वो बहुत स्कैरी भी था, बट एट द सेम टाइम देन देयर आर पीपल लाइक मी एंड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट मी, क्या ही बोलूं, there's just too much stupidity, man. कैसे किया मैंने ये सब? Like today when I look back at it and I think about it, I shouldn't have done it. Who does that? So that bringing that into the perspective, आज की story भी वैसी ही है, where I've done something back in school which I regret doing. And why do I say that? Is because whenever you go to a school and you're studying, you're expected to study at least. You need to understand this one very important, very crucial part of school life, which is distractions. माँ बाप हमेशा बोलते थे कि पढ़ाई पे ध्यान देना, डिस्ट्रैक्ट मत होना. तो मैं तो पढ़ाई पे ध्यान देने गया था. Today's episode focuses on a story where I did not deliberately went into the distraction. The distraction was inevitable. Because when I say this story, it's very hilarious because now this happened in 9th standard. As you followed the previous episode, 9th standard मैंने नया स्कूल शिफ्ट किया था जहाँ पे आपकी मार्क्स वगैरह के बेसिस पे you get that entire section. They cull you out from the herd and you try to fit in there. So 9th standard chemistry class. Based on the title of this episode, you will realize that yeah, chemistry तो होगी ही इसमें. So what we are going to talk about is this particular chemistry period that I used to have. तो हमने जब शुरू किया तो it was going pretty well. It was going comfortably is what I would say, because at the end of the day there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of passion that students had कि इसको पछाड़ना है. I wasn't the ISCO that I'm talking about, but yeah, पछाड़ना है. We had to outrank everyone else. But this chemistry period was a different thing because everyone was at the same level. Not because chemistry समझ में नहीं आती थी. It wasn't that. The reason behind it is because physics, maths, Sanskrit, English, biology, social sciences, in सब में we had very strict teachers who used to push us into becoming that particular competitive, aggressive student. But when we talk about chemistry teacher was amazing because उन्होंने भी हमें push किया. But 45 में से 45 बच्चों को घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ा. Nobody cared about it. Nobody gave two fucks about it because whenever we thought of the chemistry period, we were very excited क्योंकि distraction was the reason. अब आप सोच सकते हो कि यार फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री के पीरियड में हम डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाते थे खिड़की के बाहर देख के. मैथ्स के पीरियड में वी वर डिस्ट्रैक्टेड बाय आवर ओन सेल फोन्स जो हम कभी कभी स्मगल कर लेते थे. बैक इन द डेज cell phones weren't around allowed in school, so you need to smuggle it in. बायोलॉजी के पीरियड में you used to, social sciences के पीरियड में, बायोलॉजी के पीरियड में we used to look out of the window or we used to think कि okay there's so much, like we were very desperate for distraction कि कुछ भी मिल जाए, whatever you find, if it's even like the slightest bit of distraction, we'll take it. To an extent, I remember being the person जिसके लिए distraction was the creaking sound of the fan. Utna, the bare minimum. The teacher is saying something, but the fan is making a squeaking noise. I'm distracted. I was the person who would go and say, shut up and take my money to the fan because main khush. That's how easy it was for me. Coming back to the chemistry period, we used to have the teacher who used to push us. She used to tell us everything, but the distraction was inevitable to all 45 of us because the distraction was our chemistry teacher. And मुझे पता नहीं क्यों, like I can't, it's a coincidence, it's probably a trend. Chemistry teachers के साथ ऐसा हो जाता है कई बार that you know once in a while stumble upon a chemistry teacher जो आपको मेहुना की सुष्मिता सेन की याद दिला दे. Like violins बजेंगे, you are going to hear violins. So 9th standard में नया नया जब शुरू हुआ था तो we had this teacher, उनका नाम मैं नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि already we are talking about things, 45 लोगों की privacy यहाँ पे हम खत्म कर रहे हैं. So she used to come, she used to teach, and now that I have, I am at the age where she was when she was teaching us, I can say this very clearly that उन्हें पता था, उन्हें genuinely पता था कि ये सारे प्री प्यूबेसेंट बच्चे मुझे देख रहे हैं. They are infatuated by me. उनको पता था. There was no hiding that. And that's the thing. You realize that, somewhere कि we weren't that subtle. Like we some of us even literally drooled. I was not some of us. Take it just because you might be thinking कि every time he says something like this and then he mentions himself or refers to himself. No, I wasn't drooling, but yeah, everyone, even the girls of the class were like, क्या है ये? Why are we going through this torture जहाँ पे हमें bond समझना है, but the only bond we care of is this woman. Everything, like she tried real hard to teach us, to make us realize कि हाँ ये चीजों के बारे में पढ़ना है, but never ever did we cared. Like she taught us for 2.5 months, and through मतलब हम and we were not, when I say we were not subtle, I'm not exaggerating it for this particular episode. I'm saying we were not subtle at all because we had no fucking filter on our mouths. There was nothing. Like वो हमें कोई क्वेश्चन पूछती तो हम उनकी तारीफ कर देते थे. It was that obvious, it was that clear कि यार हम बेवकूफ हैं. So for 2.5 months we went on with that. We kept thinking about it, and I guess 2.5 महीने. And that is when we realized कि okay, we are getting a new chemistry teacher. You might be thinking कि नया chemistry teacher मतलब इन्होंने कुछ ज़्यादा ही कर दिया. Like obvious तो था ही, हद कोई पार हुई है, but no. So one day I went to school, क्लास में बैठा हूँ, and इस सेक्शन में जहाँ पे कंपटीशन इतना स्ट्रांग है, वहाँ पे रोज आर डी शर्मा की बात होती है, आर एस अग्रवाल की बात होती है. एंड हमेशा कोई ना कोई पढ़ाई का टॉपिक चल रहा होता है क्लास में बैठते साथ. यू रियलाइज कि ओके, पढ़ाई की बात होने वाली है. कम से कम 5 लड़के मेरे पास आए और एक लड़की मेरे पास आई. एंड दे टोल्ड मी दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर टीचर, आर केमिस्ट्री टीचर, इज लीविंग. नाउ यू माइट थिंक कि इज लीविंग तो अलग बात होती है, वो तो हर्टफुल है ही. But they did not say that she's leaving. They said that she's getting married. And तब मेरा दिल टूटा. एंड तब मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि ये पूरी की पूरी 45 की क्लास शांत क्यों है इतनी. इट वॉज दैट ट्रॉमेटाइजिंग फॉर अस, इट वॉज दैट डिप्रेसिंग फॉर अस कि ये शादी कर रही है. Then to add on to that, they came to me and they said कि not just that, after marriage they're shifting. So I was like कि okay, शादी कर रही है, ठीक है भाई, हम कौन सा उनको, हमसे कौन सा, हमारा कौन सा चांस था उसमें कि कुछ हो जाता. लेकिन कम से कम आती, पढ़ाती, रहती हमारे आसपास, ठीक है, नजर के सामने, जिगर के पास. बट यहाँ पे तो वो जा रही है यार. हाउ आर वी सपोज टू कोप, हाउ आर वी सपोज टू. अब हमारे दिमाग में, एंड देयर आर 3 to 5 people who come to us and they're like, how are we supposed to cope with our studies. मैंने बोला तुम पहले भी नहीं पढ़ते थे भाई उनसे. एंड ये केमिस्ट्री का जो माजरा है ना, ये बहुत लंबा चला था. बिकॉज आई रिमेम्बर आगे जाके भी, आई विल प्रोबब्ली गेट इनटू द डेप्थ्स ऑफ इट इन अनदर एपिसोड, प्रोबब्ली द नेक्स्ट एपिसोड. बट या, केमिस्ट्री टीचर ज्यादा टिकते नहीं है. इट्स लाइक द डिफेंस अगेंस्ट द डार्क आर्ट्स फॉर अस. वो टीचर्स बदलते रहते थे. एंड ये जो पहली टीचर थी मेरे इस नए स्कूल में, when the transition was so hard for me, seeing her every day, at least for 40 minutes, used to be a highlight. तो उनकी शादी होने वाली थी, वो जा रही थी, एंड आई हैड नथिंग टू लुक फॉरवर्ड टू. स्कूल क्यों ही आऊं मैं? इज एजुकेशन दैट नेसेसरी, वाज माय क्वेश्चन. एंड तभी उसी टाइम पे आई रियलाइज कि वी कैन probably have a discussion. I don't know, some meta kind of an adult came up and from inside, and it tried to reason with the reality. तो I told my friends कि चलो बात तो करते हैं, पूछते तो है क्या है हिसाब, who is this person, is he good enough for you. तो यही सोच के we she and पढ़ाते पढ़ाते she, like every other teacher, she was taking a round through the class, talking about, let's be serious, who remembers what she was talking about. We were just looking at her and she made eye, obviously जो 5-6 लोग कम से कम एक साथ एक एंगल से आपको देख रहे हैं, तो यू रियलाइज कि हाँ, यहाँ पे तो आई कांटेक्ट इनएविटेबल है. सो वी मेड आई कांटेक्ट, शी वाज लुकिंग एट अस, शी वाज लाइक क्या हो गया. एंड we started inquiring as if हम दुल्हन के मामा हैं. एंड we just kept on going. We kept on talking about, we heard you're leaving. We did not say सीधा सीधा शादी. We said, we heard that you're leaving. Why are you leaving? We'll miss you. Like as innocent students, but पता नहीं, अंदर तो हम सब चूतिए थे. So we'll miss you. And she was like, oh, so sweet. Yeah, I'm getting married. That's why we are shifting to another place. Like, so ma'am, why are you shifting? I mean, you have a job here. She's like, yeah, but he has a job there and we have to go. लाइक मैम ये तो एंड तब हम 14 साल के चूतियों को फेमिनिज्म का ज्ञान तब आया व्हेन वी सेड कि हाँ बट देन मैम इफ व्हाई डू यू हैव टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज, ही कैन आल्सो शिफ्ट हियर, इट्स नॉट लाइक देयर आर नो जॉब्स हियर. एंड that was that she was stumped because she thought कि हाँ देखते हैं भाई, मेरे को पता है इनके दिमाग में ख्याल है, बट she wasn't expecting us to speak up and say these things. तो घूम फिर के the entire discussion went that way and we were like गलत लगता है हमें तो, आप you should reconsider. and reconsider क्या करती भाई, वो उसकी शादी पक्की हो गई and she went. And we remember this very clearly, very vividly. At least हमारे सेक्शन और 2-3 सेक्शन और जहाँ पे वो पढ़ाती होंगी, द डे शी लेफ्ट एटलीस्ट 200 फेसबुक फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट तो गए ही थे उस दिन में. एंड शी वॉज सो ग्रेशियस टू एक्सेप्ट ऑल ऑफ दैट एंड हम इतने बेवकूफ थे कि हमने उन्हें फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट भेजी क्योंकि वी वर हर्ट दैट शी लेफ्ट अस. We felt abandoned, sabotaged, and now we had to watch her with her husband. 1.5 साल बाद we had to watch her with a kid. Fuck man, क्या ही बेवकूफ थे हम. But that's the thing, you establish a bond, और वो bond आपको, अब वो bond ऐसी बात है ना, केमिस्ट्री के टर्म्स में हम बात कर रहे हैं. You never know, like obviously you know, but you never know when two atoms come into the proximity and they establish that bond. And when they do, whether it is covalent or whether it is ionic, वो पता चलने में टाइम लग जाता है. With this particular teacher, we had a very strong covalent bond. With that, with that, I'll come to this particular episode's end because इससे ज़्यादा बोलूँगा तो you will think कि मेरा वो bond अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुआ. So yeah, this was a story where we were doing all sort of stupid things because, well, we were 14. Secondly, coming to the end part of this particular episode, once again I'm here to give you give a shout out to another podcast from the Spotify Level Up program, which is Local Heroes with Mirang Manik, a particular podcast that he has started, and he has been covering people, interviewing them, understanding their life, their work. And these people, they are very special because you will normally see them as ordinary people, but they have spent enormously extraordinary lives, and they are, in this particular podcast, they are actually talking about it, they're sharing those moments. It's basically like a TED talk for people who have made it, but they haven't made it into the limelight. So do check out Local Heroes with Mirang Manik. The link will be in the Spotify description and all other podcast streams that I'll be sharing. It'll be in the description. So do check them out. And yeah, do follow. Do let me know how you like this episode. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe. Did I say stay safe? I meant stay safe. Yeah.